Hello, hello. Hope everybody's doing well. Temptation Tuesday yet again. And yeah, so we got the purple one. I'm rock. Let me tell you, I cleaned the closet over the weekend, and I have a laundry basket. I don't have any dressers in here. I did in my old apartment, but I got rid of it. It was just taking up too much space. It was too big. But I have a laundry basket that's full of t-shirts, and of course, button up stuff and all on hangers. But I have an entire laundry basket full of t-shirts with different designs and whatnot. Now, I probably got my iPod raised a bit too high, but I am rocking a Purple Rain shirt. I got a Thriller one. I have so many shirts with different fronts on them, and I know you've seen a few, but I have so many, and I feel bad because I just keep rotating the same ones, you know, during live streams. But trust and believe, you're going to see more elaborate comic book or just random phrases on my t-shirts. But yeah, shout out to Prince, the purple one. And don't worry now, we're going to talk Prince on this. And I got Loving You Is Wrong in the background. It's that day. No clips yet. It's 11:08, so we haven't gotten the clips on social media. But you know the drill. As soon as those clips come out, I'll watch them. And if the clips have substance, I'll go ahead and do videos on them. But yes, I did catch the Teddy Riley Babyface well, I wouldn't even call it a rematch, the rescheduling of those two, and that'll be its own video live stream. We'll discuss it, but for this one, we'll start off talking Prince, then we'll go into other stuff. But I really did like Prince. Oh yeah, just side note, good morning. I see a few people are joined in. There's just something about a fresh shower and trimming this stuff down makes you feel good. So uh it was sunny and everything outside, then it was cloudy like it would rain when I took out the trash. But Prince, man, I remember I was at the job, and it was during, I think my team had actually won a competition. This was when I was at the call center. We had won some kind of competition for like the most registrations or something I led the pack on because I got the most on the floor all the time. But it was like a Buffalo Wild Wings party at the job. No, haven't have nots coming back in September. And I think I was on break or in between calls, and somebody who was on lunch like, "Yo, I just saw Prince passed away." So I'm like, "Dang!" So then when we had the little party, we were talking about some of our favorite songs, and bigger Michael Jackson fan than Prince, mainly because me and Mike got the same birthday, August 29. But Purple Rain, classic. Dang it, sorry, my bad. I was gonna pull out the Blu-ray for a second. I trust and believe. I want to get to those movies. I want to get to those movies. Um, and I was just thinking about after he passed. I really dove deep into his catalog of music. And shout out to Prince's Friend. That's one of my favorite YouTube channels for music. Prince's Friend. He breaks down the albums and whatnot. I think after Prince had passed, his channel, started, doing their thing where he breaks down all the albums, like the songs, the behind the making of. And I grew to appreciate, sad to say, I grew to appreciate Prince more after he had passed, more so than when he was alive. Like I knew he was a great musician. He played when it comes to music and instrumentation, Prince has Michael Jackson beat. But at the same time, it's like Mike was just the icon. Prince was an icon in his own right, but you can't really say they were at the same level. They are both in the discussion, but in terms of impact, I would say Mike had that global phenomenal impact. Prince definitely had, both of them had major influence on different artists. You could argue that Prince was the type of person who he would invest more in other people like artists and whatnot and work with them, write with them, as opposed to Michael, who was really, the star, the icon. But yeah, aside from the obvious Purple Rain, his strongest album to me, that's not to say he didn't put out hits. Michael was an entertainer, whereas Prince was an actual artist. Um, I see where. Sorry, I actually had a blue Kool-Aid jammer, so my tongue is blue. I apologize, but I mean, Prince wrote, played, produced. I will agree. I think in terms of like overall well-rounded, Prince, but I wouldn't say Mike um isn't an artist. I will say that because Michael wrote, he worked on some behind the scenes music. He was more of a Prince wrote all of his music, played very instruments you can think of that. Oh yeah, I agree. Don't get me wrong. Like a lot of his I think his first album was all him in terms of production, instrumentation. But once he signed that contract with WB, that's when he had to kind of branch out more and bring more people in. So that's when he had the first incarnation of like the revolution, if I'm not mistaken. And moving on, I would say that obviously Purple Rain was how I was introduced to Prince, aside from like the hits. I Want to Be Your Lover. But then as after he passed and I heard more, I rewatched, you can find the Prince interview with Oprah on YouTube, and Do Me Baby, what's that song? If I Was Your Girlfriend, man. And I will say this, Raspberry Beret, love it. And for me, Purple Rain, the movie, don't get me wrong, Michael with Thriller, the music video is phenomenal. But Purple Rain, to me, the album was elevated because Purple Rain, the movie, to me, was almost like not only a biography of Prince's life, but also you could argue that Purple Rain was like an expansion of the album. Like it was the album in motion. It was like a music video that lasted over an hour, where he had all these great hits. And Morris Day and the Time, which sadly aren't on this album, they're on Ice Cream Castle. But yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest. I have never sat down. I do own the DVDs, but I've never sat down and watched Under the Cherry Moon or Graffiti Bridge. I've seen bits and pieces, but I've never sat down and listened. I've listened to the albums though, but I haven't really watched the movies. Just because Prince didn't get a lot of praise for his acting in those films as much as, well, I wouldn't even say his acting in Purple Rain was like the greatest. Morris Day stole the show. And for me, I really grew to appreciate Prince a lot after he had passed, more so than, yeah, I was going to get to that. The Masters debacle and whatnot. I think for me personally, after Purple Rain, I remember listening to so many interviews with the Revolution after he had passed. Like Prince didn't want to be trapped in the bubble of Purple Rain. It's almost like, when artists have a hit album, they will, I mean, this is back in the day. Look, I was born in 91, so I know Purple Rain is ahead of my time, but that concept of music was still relevant, whereas they would put out singles and then they would have an album. And if the album was a hit, they would go on tour. And then that one album would feed them for like a couple of years, like Bobby Brown's Don't Be Cruel. That one was a banger throughout the late 80s and, the first couple of years of the early 90s. Same age, bro, 91, yeah. But it's just like Prince didn't want to be stuck with Purple Rain. He was mass produced. I know this is a weird comparison, but based on this channel, in a way, Prince was like the Tyler Perry of music. More so James Brown, a better example. Yeah, he used a lot of rock and stuff. He didn't want to be trapped in one bubble. He just wanted to keep working on music. Because when Around the World in a Day came out, who do you think had the most influence? Michael. It's not a contest. Michael had the most influence. When he came out with Around the World in a Day, he didn't want Purple Rain 2. He wanted a different sound. I think that was like more of a psychedelic Beatles-esque album, hence why Around the World in a Day did numbers, but in terms of reception and reviews, it wasn't that great. If it was for Raspberry Beret, that album would have, it only really sold a lot because it's like, Iron Man 1 did numbers, but then when Iron Man 2 came out, it's like, oh snap, I gotta watch it. Then it's not as good as the first one. So Prince was more experimental in his sound, whereas you had Michael, 3 string of hits in albums with Quincy Jones, Off the Wall, Thriller, Bad. I'm not saying the sound was exactly alike, but you see what I'm saying here. I don't know why people compare. It's like apples and oranges. They both were icons. They both have a very, very expansive legacy and influence. But moving on to the Masters debate, it's kind of interesting when you think about it because I feel like Mike and Prince were at their peak, so to speak, with Purple Rain and Thriller. Then after that, Bad was good. It just didn't hit. It didn't hit the same as Thriller though in terms of numbers. Um, it's like where Michael faced all those child allegations and all that legal stuff, as his career waned throughout the late 80s and early 90s. Prince's career, it's like his battle with the WB and the courts and all. So, oh yeah, they both. Well, some of y'all recommended that YouTube channel to me a while ago called The Detail. It's like a very expansive YouTube channel about Michael Jackson. I love it. I watched a few videos this morning, and yeah, what was it? After Mike passed, Prince was in his room locked up for several days, because he was depressed about what had happened. And it's like, all the conversations he wished they had. So yes, and it's like anyone in his camp could not work with anybody else. Hence why Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis were fired from the time, because they had worked with the SOS band. And look at what happened to them. They blew up. And that's, the whole versus thing that's going on Instagram. Instead of Teddy Riley, I think Babyface should have went up against Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. I mean, two titans right there. Purple Rain tells it all. Purple Rain. And I think that when it comes down to it, Prince was definitely ahead of his time. I mean, he has that vault, countless songs, countless movies, countless music videos. The man was a workaholic. And I think that sad to say, in our lifetime, we're never going to hear everything that's in that vault. I mean, that's what it was made for, to go generation to generation. But yeah, I definitely think in terms of what Prince album is my overall favorite, I think it's no contest that it's Purple Rain. And it wasn't until after he passed that I started listening to his later work. I mean, honestly, I didn't even listen to the whole Batman soundtrack as a kid. Then he came out with all these. I think his last few albums I never really listened to at all. He had like the tri glasses, like the glasses, like 1, 2, 3 on the forehead. I think it like represented his third eye, and the man could spot talent. So I definitely think Prince will not be forgotten anytime soon. His influence is definitely. Yeah, I think Weird Al actually wanted to do a parody of one of his songs, and Prince like, no, no, no. And I remember the Tyler Perry story where he was talking about how Prince called him up for using Purple Rain in one of his plays, and then he's like, don't do it again. And then when Prince actually came to a show, when it got to that point in the show, Tyler looked down and Prince gave him the nod, then he allowed him to do it. And then Prince got on stage, and Tyler said he regretted that because he couldn't get the audience back. Oh, yeah, 1999, woo! Soft and Wet, If I Was Your Girlfriend, 1999, Little Red Corvette, Controversy, and I'm just listing off this. Adore was the next one I was going to say. I kid you not. You are my all and my. Really adore you. From the first moment I saw you, I knew. That was the only episode of Blackish I've actually watched, the Prince tribute episode. You don't have to be rich. I remember one time I was in Food Line with my mom, and that song came on. It's like, and she was like, boy, if you don't just, I'm like, don't have to be beautiful. I wish I had like a Purple Rain poster and a Thriller poster, and I'd have them framed and put next to each other. You never watched Blackish? I've never actively watched episodes, aside from the Prince one, which was the 100th. I've watched scenes and clips, but I've never just sat down and watched it. I think it's on Netflix. Yeah, For You. Diamonds and Pearls. Oh my gosh. This will be the day, boom, that you will hear me say on Hulu. Okay. That I will never run away. It's not on Netflix, it's on Hulu. Okay, thank you. Love Sexy, that was a good one too. Yeah, actually my laptop had been on for like 10 hours, so I got it shut, and I'm on my iPod, so I can't look up singles and whatnot. But yeah, finally catching it live. I know this isn't a big, expansive one, but at the same time, I just wanted to pop in and say hello, because yesterday was an eBay day. Like, I listed like 180 items. I still got more to list, and I did a few videos early. Ambitions is on Hulu too. Okay, thanks for that. Thank you. But yeah, man, Prince. I just love the fact that he wrote so many manic. What was it? Manic Monday. Nothing compares. I feel for you. I mean, a lot of songs by other artists that were hits were like lukewarm songs with Prince. Like he would put the song out there. It wouldn't make as big as an impact until somebody else got their hands on it and boom, made it. Put their own spin on it. So I really like that aspect of Prince where he could do that for other people. I mean, sorry. Drop the baseball. Cream, get on top. Cream, your boogie. Sometimes it snows in April. And I remember what was it, like MTV or VH1? It was like Prince Acoustic, where he's just in like a mini stadium. He's sitting on a stool and he got the guitar. And I just love, it's like he's stripped away from everything and it's just him. Man, I wish I could have seen these people in concert. Prince started in the 80s. I mean, he had been playing instruments since he was a kid. Piano. He was writing songs when he was very young. I want to say For You came out in the 80s or no, I think it was like in the late 70s, wasn't it? Because it was like For You, Controversy, Dirty Mind, 70s. Okay, thank you. I know it was like For You, Controversy, Dirty Mind, and then 1999. And then, of course, Purple Rain and the rest. But I think the first 4 albums were For You. Actually, I think Dirty Minds came out next. Then it was Controversy. Then it was 1999. Yo, that's what's up. Wait. For You came out in 70. Okay, thank you. Because I'm just like, no, Purple Rain came out around the time of Thriller. And that was like in like 84 when Thriller came out. Because Billie Jean and The Girl Is Mine were like the first couple singles all Thriller that came out in 83. So yeah, y'all right. Thank you for the number check. Like I said, if my laptop was actually open, I would look this stuff up. But I mean, of course, Prince goes down for kicking Kim Kardashian off stage. Like, hey, get off stage. Get off stage now. But Prince was definitely one of the GOATs. I remember when I wanted to be a songwriter, he was one of my top inspirations. Like, I would always have Purple Rain playing on Lemonade Mouth or Purple Rain were on the TV, or BET All Access for Neo, and I'll be writing songs and whatnot. So Prince definitely in the conversation for the greatest. Well, it's not even a conversation; it's fact. Like, yes, him and Michael. I think the album "I Want to Be Your Lover" was the second. Oh, I forgot. He had a self-titled album, Prince, with "I Want to Be Your Lover," "Why You Want to Treat Me So Bad," and I think "I Feel for You" was on that one. Thriller came out in 82. Dang, I messed up. Thank you. For You, Prince, Controversy, 1999. But Dirty Mind is in there somewhere. I forgot where it fell, but I know it was before Purple Rain. I know he followed. I mean, it's almost okay. To me, it's like Michael Jackson had the work ethic and the footwork of James Brown. Prince had the I'm pumping out albums nonstop mentality of James Brown as well. It's just that the company didn't want him to 79. Okay, thanks. They didn't want him to oversaturate the market. And the thing with James Brown is like I never knew James put out so much work, and there were barely any hits. Like James got hits, but there will be a long string of albums in between hits. So yeah, that's where Prince got that mentality from, and that's where the big debacle with the WB. Peace, Jeremy and Chet. Well, hey, thanks for joining in. Prince's biggest debacle with the WB thing is like, it's like, hey, Prince, we're glad you want to put out music, but you need to slow it down because you need to put out an album, then promote it instead of putting out another album right after this to get people time to, soak it up. Yeah, the conspiracy theories is crazy. Yeah, Prince had an album every year. Yeah, thank you. That narrows it down. It really does. Yeah, I used to be a Prince fan back in the day. Oh, fan back in the day. Yeah, it's I think because again I was young and my mom didn't have all the albums and whatnot, so for me it was like, yo, he's putting out these double, triple disc albums. I don't really have time to absorb it. Fan. Okay, fan. Okay. Yeah, Dirty Mind was in there. So, those were like the albums. Not Prince had to cut some of the music down because it wouldn't finish the album. Yeah. I love looking into that kind of stuff. Just the history of like, oh, there's an extended cut or this song couldn't make it on the album. So, and I know he was against the internet for a long time, but he was like the first artist to like try to sell albums online before it became a big thing. So Prince was ahead of his time because obviously he was like one of the first big artists in the movement against streaming music. I don't really have that much of an opinion on Madonna. I've never been like a big consumer of her work. There are a few songs I actually think are really good, but I can't really say if I think she's like the pioneer of female pop. Yeah, I know Prince was like, no, Spotify and everything. I know Taylor Swift was one of the more current artists who kind of followed the same thing, where it's like, look, I'm putting out this music, but I'm not making anything from like these streaming services. So eventually they both, I know after Prince passed, the estate put the music back, then Taylor Swift eventually did the same thing as well. But I'm only using that example of Taylor Swift and Prince because of the current day situations like Taylor Swift fighting against Big Machine Records, just like Prince fought with the WB. I have a lot of his old albums and 45 records. Oh, dang, taking it back. Yeah. I think, what was that album? What was the album with Adore? I feel bad for forgetting it. Um, One of my all-time favorite songs for 17 Days Weekend. Most beautiful, yeah. Most beautiful girl in the most beautiful girl in the world. Oh, baby. Boom, boom. Sign of the Time. Again, I feel bad. I feel bad for just not even remembering that off the top of my head. I'm sorry. I have the Purple Rain edition 45, When Doves Cry. That's awesome. Maybe I'm just like my father, too bold. Maybe I'm just like my mother. She's never sad. She's never satisfied. Yeah, but here's a big question for you. Which album do you think is better? Thriller or Purple Rain? Which album is better? Track for track. Like, which album would you not hit skip on? Which album do you feel doesn't have a song where it's like, nah, I gotta hit that skip? Now, there might be songs like, yo, run it back. Like, you heard the first few seconds, but like, nope, play it again. Which album, blow for blow, track for track, do you think is the better album? Don't get me wrong. Again, I'm a Virgo, born August 29th. Michael Jackson, I've always been like Mike. But after, Prince had died, I absorbed more of his music. I learned more of the stuff. And the appreciation for Purple Rain, let me put it to you this way. Let me read off the tracks off Thriller. Okay, I'll read off the tracks off Thriller first, because I see some comments. Wanna be starting something. Boom, 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 ba-doom, ba-doom, doom, 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 doom. Baby Be Mine. Not a big knob. The Girl Is Mine. Yeah, lighthearted, but I like it. Every night she walks right in my dreams since I met her from the start. Thriller. I like the music video version better than the album version. Beat It. Billie Jean. Human Nature. P. White's Pretty Young Thing. And The Lady in My Life. Very good one. I think, to me personally, Baby Be Mine is the weakest track on the album. I mean, what's that song that was on the expanded version? Carousel? Okay, now let me read Purple Rain. I'm going to read Purple Rain. Let's Go Crazy. Take Me With You, which was in that scene where Apollonia and Prince are driving on the motorcycle. The Beautiful Ones, one of my one of my favorite Prince songs. Computer Blue. Darling Nikki. When Doves Cry. I Would Die For You. Baby I'm a Star and Purple Rain. Now, if I were to try to choose what song on Purple Rain was the weakest, and this is the 2015 remaster. So, like, keep in mind these are the OG albums. These aren't the expanded versions, the anniversary version that has all the extra remixes and tracks. This is like the OG. Well, this is the remastered one, but there's no extra tracks. I would say Take Me With You is probably the weakest song on the album. Computer Blue is great because it's like it's more about the instrumentation than the actual. I don't even think there are any lyrics in it. I think Take Me With You is kind of like the weakest. I think Take Me With You and Computer Blue are like the lowest tier songs on the album. Now, don't get me wrong. It depends on my mood which one I feel is the better album. It depends on my mood which one is the better album. Okay? Yes, and it depends, because if I want a feel-good song, a feel-good album, Thriller. Want to be starting something. It's like I just put it on, like, drop the needle, boom, 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 oh shit. And then it ends with The Lady in My Life. It's a mellow exit. I feel like Baby Be Mine, I would skip it. I would skip Baby Be Mine. But everything else, I'd run through it. Purple Rain takes you on a journey. No. These are in the plastic, and I plan on if I ever get a record player or something, I might, but I play most of my music on the TV or computer, so I really don't need to open them. For me, these are collector's items, you know? Sex Shooter. Come and play with my mission. But, Let's Go Crazy, Take Me With You. I feel like Purple Rain is like more of a roller coaster, in terms of the energy of the songs. Like, Let's Go Crazy, and then Take Me With You. It's like, okay, slow it down. The Beautiful Ones, Computer Blue, Darling Nikki. I would prefer side two of the album. When Doves Cry, I Would Die For You, Baby I'm a Star, and Purple Rain. Yeah, I would always go to side two. Side one, if I want to party with Let's Go Crazy, but then I want a bunch of, just slower tempo songs. Again, The Beautiful Ones, Take Me With You, Computer Blue, Darling Nikki. I would go side two, but in terms of which album would I put on right now, it would be Thriller. It would be Thriller. That's not to say Purple Rain ain't great. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that Thriller is the stronger album, because again, Baby Be Mine is the only song I would like skip. Take Me With You and Computer Blue, I'm like iffy on it. Darling Nikki is good, but it's not one I always listen to all the way through. All right, so we compared the albums. I got Erotic City on repeat at least 2 to 3 times. Okay, that's great. That's good stuff. But yeah, going back to Prince, The Revolution, New Power Generation, he created The Time, Apollonia 6, put out so many songs. I have both in our car, but Adore is on. You are my heart and mind, really adore you. And I've been calling us. Oh yeah. A lot of people wanted to do his remixes and whatnot. His audience was geared mainly towards the women, then later to the wire. That is a great thing to bring up. That is a great thing. That's why when it comes to like Beyonce's better than Michael, but the thing about it is Mike's music hit everybody. It was everyone. It wasn't just, oh, I'm going for this target audience. I'm going to that. That's how you separate them two. That's a perfect argument right there. I think that's why Michael is the global icon, the global entertainer. That's not taking, don't forget Nasty Girl. I wish him and Vanity would have ended up together, because I saw a lot of their story, but too bad things like drugs and just their personalities clashed. I think they were beautiful together. I got that book, Before the Rain. It's like a photo album of Prince in his early career. Prince and Beyonce shouldn't be compared to. Yeah, see, exactly. Like Beyonce Homecoming was phenomenal, but again, Mike was a one-man show. That's not to say he doesn't have a choir or band or backup dancers, but he's better known for being the entertainer on the spotlight. So again, I'm not taking anything away from Prince. I'm not taking anything away from Beyonce, but MJ was like the whole package. But when it comes down to let's talk about different elements like instrumentation, performance, and stuff like that, then other people might win the argument. America, Hello Girl, Pop Life, ain't no time to play. The best songs were. I'm going to listen to Around the World in a Day again. I don't think I've given that album a fair chance. Yeah. If I was your girlfriend. I know. I love how he like sped up his voice sometimes and whatnot. But I think one of my favorite performances was either the Sign of the Time concert movie or when he did it on the Oprah show. If I was your girlfriend, would you remember all the things done before I go out? Not that you're helpless. Sometimes that's plain what being in love's about. Yeah, that's good stuff. But yeah, I mean, again, Purple Rain, the movie, just elevated this album to the next level. How do you feel about Rihanna having more number one hits? I mean, my thing is this: records are meant to be broken, and the way that let me put it this way, the measuring stick in terms of what means success in the music business is far different today than it was in the 80s, 90s, and arguably the early 2000s. I mean, once streaming became a thing, I mean, literally, work, 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 work. Yeah, that's a great song. Catchy and annoying as hell, but yeah, I'd put that against any song from Prince or Michael or Mariah Carey. It's ridiculous. I don't know any of y'all follow Righteous and Ratchet, Kev on Stage, All Def, Tony Baker, Doughboy. I know they did a debate recently about Nicki Minaj versus Lauryn Hill, and Doughboy is always going about how success in terms of sales and whatnot means that you're the GOAT, and it doesn't. So I don't know. Do Me Baby. Chris Tucker had the best cover, Do Me Baby, at the beginning of Rush Hour 3. Like I never did before. Ooh, give it to me. I just can't take no more. Yeah, I'm good. I'm playing. But yeah, I think same way Drake has the most hit. Exactly. I mean, people are just putting out all this music, and that's my biggest thing. Like and I'm only going to make a segue just real quick to the Lauryn Hill, Nicki Minaj debate. Doughboy's thing is like, well, Lauryn Hill only put out one album and blah, blah, blah. But the thing about it is that album is over 20 years old and people still love it. People still rock with it. Nicki Minaj has so many songs, but how many real hits does she? Like, in the next 5 years, will people be talking about Nicki Minaj the same way that we talk about Lauryn Hill in 2020? I don't think, because it's the way people consume music nowadays. It's like, it's hard to have songs that are lasting. Yo, Mr. Done by Patti LaBelle, written by Prince, says timeless. There you go. It's just that, music is just consumed at such a rate that there's really no time to just sit back and absorb it, It has to stand the test of time. Exactly. Oh, no, and again, I'm not taking anything away from Nicki. It's just like, I don't think that, I can't even name 5 songs. I really can't. I think Super Bass is probably one of my favorite songs by her. And her verse on Monster was great. But in terms of like longevity, like in 2025, I don't think I'm going to really be, I don't think a lot of people will be talking about her. That's just my opinion. Plus, she's kind of like, retired right now. So, plus, I mean, Cardi B took over, so, and I don't really follow her like that either. So, again, not my cup of tea. I'm more of a fan of this brand of music, the OG classic stuff, but that's just me. The music of yesterday can't compare to the music of today. We always listen to Michael and Prince. Yeah, exactly. Prince, even though I'm not the biggest fan, Madonna, Mariah Carey, boy bands, NSYNC, the Backstreet Boys, freaking, hey, the Spice Girls, freaking, like all that stuff. Oh man, like when the Spice Girls came back, people lost their dang minds. Nicki Minaj come back, okay. Early Kanye, oh yeah. But again, that's just me. Music today is just so different. I mean, it's up to personal taste, but when it comes to longevity, I don't think a lot of what's out there today can hold a candle. I understand what you mean. They were more creative now. Yeah, they just put out stuff for, oh yeah, let me make this song for TikTok. Let me make this song for Vine. Something that's going to go. It's all about going viral as opposed to being successful. Even though, I mean, that's how I look at the whole thing while I do on YouTube. People are like, yo, man, what? Yo, like so-and-so had this video that blew up, but it was just that one video. My thing is, like, I'd rather put out a bunch of video that's like decent quality. Nope, exactly. I want substance. I don't want to be like a one-hit wonder. I mean, trust me, the ad revenue will be amazing, but it's like I'd rather build my way up to a level of success instead of getting there and then not being ready for it. Yeah, Mariah, exactly. Mariah, come on now. She's the queen of Christmas. Every year, all I want for Christmas, that royalties check must be enormous. Just like Miley Cyrus party in the USA every 4th of July. That check is big for royalties. That check is big. But yeah, any closing thoughts here? And I don't want to like cut it short, but I mean, any closing thoughts about Prince before we close up shop? Like I said, I want to conserve my voice because it's almost noon, and when they drop those, if loving you is wrong videos, man, let's not even talk about Whitney. That's like we don't even need to, music with a message, because it's like no debate. Whitney, come on now, don't nah. But I agree with you wholeheartedly. Whitney Houston, my gosh. Like again, Whitney Houston. Look at all the music she put out in the freaking 80s. Compare that to Nicki Minaj. Yep, you're right. Thank you for your time and allowing us to chat. Oh, no problem. Like I said, I want to be doing this more often because this week, If Loving You Is Wrong, yes, I did hear that song you sent me. This week, If Loving You Is Wrong is the only show I need to review because Ruthless and Sisters aren't coming back until next week. So you can expect more live streams. I have not uploaded the freaking Patreon stuff yet. I will upload it, but I have done Patreon stuff. I want to come back maybe tomorrow and talk about the Babyface Teddy Riley thing. I want to list out all the songs they played and give you my personal ranking about who won. And we'll go from there. But hey, thanks for joining in, and I'll talk to you all soon. Peace. Yeah, oh, they try to put her, Mariah, and Celine together. Yeah, they all have different vibes. They all have different vibes. Okay, guys, I'll talk to you all soon, and expect If Loving You Is Wrong content later today. Once I hit the X button.